Um, Thank you for the recording. For the ones that are here for the first time, if you could mute yourself when you come in. We have a lot of information that's going to be shared tonight, and I want to make sure everyone is here to listen. We're here for a conversation. Uh, there's a few things that I've learned along the way, and the one thing that I've learned is we have to have a communication. And everyone knows if you have children, if you have cousins, nieces, nephews, the one thing we always ask for is communication. So we're going to communicate. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about the elemental certificates. But the one thing we're not going to talk about for compliance purposes, we're not going to talk about taxes. We're not tax advisors. We're not tax accountants. We're not CPAs. So to keep it compliant, we won't talk about that. Another thing, we are not financial advisors, nor we are looking to give you finance advice. We're not financial advisors nor advising you on your finances. We are simply going to conversate. We're going to share with you what we do, who we are, and where this is going. Some of us here have had great success with the elemental certificates. And the certificates is simply on the blockchain like a CD to the bank. So we're going to talk about that. We have some great representatives here. We have some great trainers, myself. We have the executive, Miss, I believe she's here, Miss Glassby. We also have, for the sake of the training tonight, and I believe he's here, Mr. McNeal. He is a international executive with the company. And then we have, as everyone knows, we love and love to hear from, we have Mr. Continental Executive, Mr. Charles White. And he was saying to me earlier, it was just him and I on the Zoom, and he was saying that, people are in this world and the world is just not safe. So we're going to bring you into our world. We're going to make this a safe place. So we're going to communicate in a safe way, but also stay compliant. So with no further ado, if you could do me a favor in the chat, if you could actually put where you are zooming in from, because we see folks are coming in like a mighty rushing water, as they would say, and where I'm from, the church, not pushing any faith on you, but just saying what I've been used to. We see, oh, wow, we got Florida in the house. We have, looks like, oh, wow, it's Chattanooga, Chesapeake, Brooklyn, New York, Kansas, St. Paul, Lancaster, Michigan, Seattle, Washington. We have Compton, Los Angeles. We got a whole lot of folks here, folks. So with no further ado, I did give a couple of, let's just call them procedures and rules. We want to be respectful of folks' time. We want to say thank you and welcome. And again, this is the Freedom Rising Team's elemental training call. I call it a training call because some people that are here, you know about the certificates, and let's just say you're not quite convinced that this is the right place, this is the right time. Is this going to be around for the full cycle of, as they say, the bonuses? Well, folks, you're in for a treat. We have some excellent presenters this evening. The first one that's going to come from you, he hails from the great state of Chicago, Illinois, living with me here in the state of Seattle, Washington. This brother is responsible for me exiting the workforce. He's responsible for me staying retired. He's also responsible for a great, huge team that we're building in the Northwest. And our team is doing great things because of his leadership. So, with no further ado, Mr. Steph McNeal, the gentleman is a wonder. He's a success. He is a direct disciple of the late Dr. Ty and Valerie Best. With their success and with their mentorship, this man has taken flight to success of no other. My good friend, my good brother, he actually has 6 kids, 5 boys, 1 girl, 7 grandkids, one on the way. Now, business wise, this man actually owned an insurance company called State Farm. He also owned a life insurance agency which was New York Life. The man knows a little bit about success. He also knows about having a brick and mortar business. Folks, do you know this man stays at home, gets a chance to be with his grandkids every single day? Some of us are wondering, and some of us don't like that job. Some of us don't like having to be in traffic. Do you know by putting those elemental certificates to work for you, I call it an incubator. Everybody knows what the incubators are. Those where babies were had. That's where they would actually go after they had the mothers would have them. We put our money in an incubator, and that incubator has babies overnight. So we're going to teach what that is tonight. So, Mr. McNeal, if you come on, turn your camera on, we want to let folks know that we exist. We want to let folks know that we are ready to go. And we also want to let folks know this is, again, a safe place where we can actually talk, we can conversate. So, with no further ado, folks, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce to some and present to others my good friend, my good mentor, and king of kings, Mr. Steph McNeal. Mr. McNeal, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I am, man. And thank you very much, Mr. Greene. I appreciate your very, very kind words. I really appreciate that. Thank you, and welcome everyone to this call. We're very excited about our Tuesday nights. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to communicate, to educate, and Mr. Johnny Greene Jr. is an incredibly successful man in his own right in this business. He understands finance, understands the numbers game at a high level, able to really communicate that, and he's really leading that charge out here in the Northwest. And so when you think about building something to last, always remember there's no I in team. And we're first going to want to remember that and communicate that, because without Mr. Johnny Greene Jr., without most of you on the Zoom and our team in the Northwest and over in UK and Canada, I'm not achieving at a high level by myself. It takes a team, and it takes a lot of help and effort from everyone, so we all can achieve. And that culture was set up by Dr. Ty Best and Valerie Best and Mr. Michael Delco, carrying that torch in such a great way, creating this incredible community that thrives on supporting one another. So thank you again, Mr. Greene. Appreciate that. So again, my name is Steph McNeal, and I want to share with you kind of the journey that I have been on in this space. Mr. Greene mentioned I own a couple businesses. I'm very fortunate to do that. I learned a lot. And as I share my screen here, I want to be able to kind of help you understand some things that I've learned along this process, and what I've discovered in talking with a few people just this morning that were new to the space, very successful in business, but they had never had an opportunity to really plug into the blockchain space. They had been hearing about it, watching things on the news and digital and print media. And so we were able to go on this journey to help them see how we got to this space. And so when you think about 95% of the world's population has yet to adopt blockchain crypto projects, you understand why we stay on this educational piece instead of just diving into the certificates, to understand why we're here and how we arrived here. And the biggest question I had was, when I got exposed to this space in 2009, it literally made no sense to me. Even though I was looking for an opportunity, looking for a way to create some income, additional income, I had just sold my own state. So we were looking for some things, and I got exposed to it. And it made no sense to me. A buddy of mine said, "Stefan, are you familiar with Bitcoin? It's the future of money, man." I said, "No." He said, "You haven't heard about it?" That's why I heard about it, but I don't know anything about it. Now, that was really the crux of that conversation. I didn't ask any questions. I'm a guy that loves to ask questions. I love to research. 2 years later, another friend of mine gave me a call to share the same thing with me. "Hey, Stefan, the future money is here. We got to get you involved with some Bitcoin. Send me $2,000 and I'm going to get you set up." I said, "Wait a minute, man. I'll send you $2,000. He said, "Yeah, send me $2,000, man. I'll get you a bunch of crypto, Bitcoin stuff. It's going to be the future money stuff." And I said, "Can I ask you a couple questions?" He said, "Sure." I said, "Who's the founder of this Bitcoin?" He said, "Well, his name is Satoshi Nakamoto, but no one's ever met him." I said, "Okay, I can understand that. All right. All right. So what about the corporate headquarters? I can find out some information about their corporate structure. Where is that located?" He said, "Well, there's no corporate headquarters at all. It's all online." And I said, "So you say, I mean, it's the future of money? There's no one knows the founder, never met him, corporate headquarters? Is it backed by any government? Nope. What about precious metals? Nope. Nobody's army? Nope." I'm like, "Dude, you're not beating me. I'm not seeing no money about it." Nor did I do any research. That was 2011. Bitcoin was $1.12 per coin. In 2009, it was 47 cents. And so the reason why I dive in and stay on this piece and keep this the same is because I want to really figure out a way and prayed about it. How do we communicate so people don't miss the message because of the messenger or they feel like they're being sold? We don't want anybody on these Zooms or any of our wealth builder process or any of the Zooms that we're on to not understand how we arrived here and that it's here to stay. And so this whole idea of economies of time and when there's a paradigm shift in the marketplace or products and services are introduced that change the way we do life. And so one of the situations we can remember, we can think about a time when you remember when we didn't have the internet. Sometimes remember when we didn't have computers, or these companies here on the Web 1.0 didn't exist 15, 20 years ago. Yahoo.com, MSN, Web 1.0, Web 1.0, that was the beginning of this paradigm shift in technology. And we moved to Web 2.0, where we see these iconic brands that we now have, like IG, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, Google, Uber, Amazon Web Services, companies that once never existed. And all of a sudden now they become iconic brands around our world, employing thousands around the world. Some of our number one employers in most countries in this tech and digital space. So it's happening in real time, including moving into Web 3.0 and fast into Web 4.0. So think about this. I remember walking around with a boombox. I remember going to the parks. I remember the camcorder recording my kids' football games and track meets. I remember doing all that. Some of you remember walking around with a Discman or a Walkman and etc. Cassette players. We had all those things. And again, that was technology. And as a consumer, that's what I purchased. And then this gentleman comes around named Mr. Steve Jobs, and he introduces the world to the iPhone. It changed the game. He took all these things right here that we carried around, like 20 different items, into this one device called the smart device. It changed the game, and it's amazing. So technology makes paradigm shifts. It doesn't ask our permission. It continues to innovate. That's what it does. We are a tech company, financial tech company, and a bank, and we are always be innovating because that's just the way it is. As we look at now our currency now, some of us have the same concerns. Gas prices are this price, and we're looking at the price of goods and services at grocery stores. Our dollars aren't going as far as they used to go, or most fiat currencies around the world. Think about this. In 1980, $20 bill could have got you a lot of groceries in most countries. 2000, that same $20 bill got you a little bit of groceries, not as much as before. Now, 2023, we go to the grocery store, things are different. Your dollar's not going as far. Think about this. Some of the bags of chips we used to buy. You remember those chips for 49 cents, 69 cents, 89 cents? It kept going up by 20 cents, right? But the bags didn't really change. Now those bags are $1.40, $1.50, and they're smaller. You can barely get your hand in there and get 2 or 3 chips. So your purchasing power doesn't go as far. And so we look at Bitcoin as another medium of exchange. The Bitcoin. So back in 2011, that same Bitcoin, remember, it was $1.12. It only got you a few groceries in that grocery cart. 10 years later, 2021, now Bitcoin can buy you a car, the same one Bitcoin. Again, the purchasing power increasing, the value going up. 2030, the projections are you'll be able to take one Bitcoin and purchase a crib, purchase your house. JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, their current CEO, he made this statement back in September of 2017. He said Bitcoin was a fraud and would eventually blow up. Just like a lot of people maybe was skeptical. I was one of those people. But just like he had a chance to change his mind, so did I. That same bank, same CEO, a month and a half ago, June 23 of 23, JP Morgan rolls out their own blockchain payment in euro. So it is happening in real time as we see Fidelity, BlackRock, some of the leading financial companies on the planet going all in the blockchain space. Europe's biggest banks adds Bitcoin, Ethereum as an ETF in Hong Kong at HSBC. It's another large bank. And what other top banks are doing around the world, investing in blockchain projects. We are a blockchain company, and we're powered by Swiss Verizon Bank. And look at what these banks are doing in the blockchain space. So when you hear friends and family, Uncle Ray, Aunt Susie, your pastor, all of them individuals are very, very sincere. we all trust and love them, right? But if they're talking about crypto being a place that's nobody's doing or is a scam or blockchain, they're just sincerely wrong. Look at and follow the money. Morgan Stanley Bank, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon. That's the oldest bank in our country in New York. Commonwealth Bank, Citigroup. It's another large financial group that we all know, love, and trust. UOB out of Singapore, HSSB, primarily in China, but over in Yukon, Wells Fargo, this banking over in South Korea. A lot of great things are happening in this blockchain space. This is a 2-year-old slide, and you can see what happened. This was just 2 years ago. It has changed dramatically now in terms of the money going in at a lot higher rate. I like to highlight this one company here. If you look at Goldman Sachs in the blue, the second bank, and go to your right, move your eyes to your right just a little bit, and you see the first name, and it's Certic, Certik. Remember when you had your computers, different software, or your smart devices, even to this current day? This gentleman named McAfee, he's brilliant. He figured out a way to help protect us as we navigated the internet. It was a great move, and it protected us. He became a multi-billionaire. He saw a problem and came up with a solution. Certic is running the exact same way in the blockchain space and providing security for us to navigate on the blockchain. It is a robust program that is starting to really get its sea legs, and it's happening in real time all over. Goldman Sachs says there'll be 1 billion new users in the block, going to flood the market in the crypto space. Again, BlackRock making a game-changing move, literally, because most companies follow their lead. This is one of the I think they're number 1 or 2 globally. It's a $98 trillion company. They're putting a lot of money in this whole space, and they're launching their own ETF, which basically is a state they call exchange traded funds. In the digital space, it's likened to a mutual fund, and it's very, very unique what they're doing. And so it's happening in real time. Bitcoin's making this resurgence. The EU allowing their banks to hold 2% of their capital in crypto, including Bitcoin. And it's happening now. As I look at what's going now, there's a big win happening in the political process now in terms of regulatory bill that's getting ready to be approved. Gets approval. It's called the FIT bill, and where the House Financial Service Committee has approved of financial innovation and technology for the 21st century. Is happening right now in real time, where we see our country is starting to make a move to be able to be competitive, and they have to, not because they want to, they want control, but there's too many people in the banking world that are starting to move into the space and move at a fast rate. I want to go ahead and move along and move into this presentation, bring to you all a gentleman that has been incredible in terms of his business acumen that we've been able to glean information from, and how he has built his career in the financial services industry and what he's done. He's been phenomenal. We've been able to watch him build his business. Got a chance to go out to Texas a few months ago and watch this gentleman literally and his team put on an incredible meeting down there, and met some incredible individuals that have become friends and business colleagues now. And Mr. White is a former senior VP of a large Midwestern insurance company. He's led efforts to expand business relationships and new client bases, and in this whole space of financial services. Over 41 years of experience in the industry. He's held leadership positions in banks, brokerage firms, and insurance companies. Gentleman has done some phenomenal things. And one of the things that I really enjoy amongst just being able to chat with him is the idea of being able to learn from this guy. He's like he's got a new phrase when it comes to the financial service industry. And as he starts to think and talk out loud, it's been very refreshing for us to learn and get to know Mr. Charles White and what he brings to the table. He and his wife are in Dallas, Texas, Gail. Got a flat out love for the Lord and seeing other people win at a high level. So we're going to bring to the floor Mr. Charles White. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. McNeal. And I just would like to just take a moment and ask everyone to say a prayer for my friend. She's not doing very well. Her name is Bonnie. And just take a moment and say a prayer for Bonnie, because we need her, and we need her healthy. So if you would just take a moment, just a few seconds, and ask God for healing for Bonnie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Mr. McNeal, come back here for a minute. You talk about, if you turn your camera on, if you're available, you talk about a number of things, things that come out of my mouth. And literally 30 minutes ago, I pulled up to the house. I've been in St. Louis. I went to my 50th high school reunion. And there may be some of my friends on here tonight from that reunion. I appreciate y'all for coming. But the word that I have today, that it just keeps coming to me, it keeps coming to me, it keeps pounding me, is disconnect. We have a disconnect. I went to I've eaten a whole week in 2 days in restaurants, and there was never enough staff. The hotel, I stayed in 4 different hotels over this period. And there were never enough people. There weren't enough maids. There weren't enough servers for the party that we had. There just weren't enough. And so I remember discussing this information with someone I met in the lobby at the hotel. I may have even brought this up last week. There's a disconnect, and it happened with COVID and with the stimulus. People have figured out that we're not paying enough. So there's no shortage of workers. There's a shortage of employers willing to step up and pay what's required to have a living wage. That's the disconnect. So people have decided that I just rather, if I can't make enough money to go to work and keep my kids, and I'll just stay at home. I'll just stay at home. So there's a disconnect. Now, there's also a disconnect with the American dream. I'm sitting in a restaurant and I'm looking at all these bright young people who are waiting tables. And so I went to Starbucks. My wife said, let's just pull on the Starbucks for breakfast this morning. And there were these bright young people working in Starbucks in their early 20s. Well, gee whiz, Starbucks may be paying $12 an hour or $13 an hour or $14 an hour. Mr. McNeal, you can't build a life on that. You can't build a life on that. Do you know what I mean? You can't start a family with $12 an hour or $13 an hour. It's fun to work there, but you can't meet your family's needs with $13 an hour. That's why what we're doing is so vital. It's so critical. It's so the need to get young people, Mr. Greene, involved in this project so that they can build their lives. Are you following what I'm saying here? So that I've lived my life. I'm 68 years old now, and I don't have to do this, but there's a bunch of young people that need to hear this so they can navigate through the mess that we've set up for them. I said I'm claiming it. We did this to them. So I'm going to start my presentation, but next week, bring a young person. I'm going to do this another week, maybe 2. I've said every Tuesday, but I'm old and I'm tired. But there's some young people that need to hear this, and they don't want to come because they're having fun working at Starbucks. It's a fun place to work, but you can't build a life there. You can't. You just can't do it. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. If you guys, you're here tonight and you can bring a young person with you next week, type me in the chat. I'm going to bring a young person next week. Somebody who's under 30. Type me in the chat. And then next week, what I'm going to talk about is how to take $250 250 USDT, not dollars. I've got to stop that because that's not compliant, Mr. Greene. When I say dollars and I'm talking about USDT, that's not compliant because it looks the same, but it's not the same. Okay. So I'm going to talk about how to take 250 USDT and start this program so that you can develop a life for your young person. Help your young person develop a life. You can't do it at Starbucks. Okay, I'll shut up and I'm going to share my screen. Mr. Greene, I'm pretty fired up about this. I think we got a problem.
Yes, sir.
Bring a young person. Okay.
Every day, everywhere in the world, people wake up, get dressed, and head off to make a living, following the path they've chosen. But deep down inside, there's always a desire for a better way, a simpler way, a legitimate way to make more money, have more free time, and enjoy life rather than just work until we die. We have found a 100% legitimate, inexpensive, logical system with a valuable product and real-time commissions. Generate income with just a cell phone and an internet connection from anywhere at any time. Get started now, get paid now. Do you look for ways to make more money? Ask for info and we will send you more information. Let's talk.
So this guy, do you recognize this man? This is Thomas Jefferson. He was the third president of the United States. And I've done this presentation this way before, and I thought about it. There's some pieces in here about the 401k that I really need to talk about tonight. It was just calling my name. So Thomas Jefferson is a spokesman for democracy, was an American founding father, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, and the third president of the United States from 1801 to 1809. And Thomas Jefferson was a philosopher, but he was also a prophet. Look at this. Here's what he said on banking. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. Excuse me. And so I want to talk about kind of the progression of money in the United States. Jefferson said that, and then, lots of things happened. They put this Federal Reserve Act together. John Pierpont Morgan was one of the men who really pushed this thing through Congress. And it was passed by the 63rd United States Congress. And I talk about this thing, I poo-poo it. Lots of people poo-poo the Federal Reserve. But they have served their purpose. Their purpose initially was to control banks. Banks really weren't so very sophisticated back in that period, back in the early teens. Okay, and before that, they would fail. And then if there was no backstop, there was no backstop for the banks. If there was a run on the bank, which there were many, and many banks failed because of that, kind of sort of like we have right now. We have runs on our banks right now. So President Woodrow Wilson signed into law on December 23rd, 1913, the law created the Federal Reserve System, the central banking system of the United States. This is centralized banking. This is where it started. It's a new tax code was passed the same year, heavily favoring the wealthy and big business. They set it up so that we would pay the taxes and they would provide industry and jobs and money to finance everything. And then we would pay the taxes. They would not, their share was not to pay taxes. It was to set up industry and jobs so that we would have someplace to work and feed ourselves and our families. Yeah, okay. That never changed. It hasn't changed very much in all these years. The gold standard, let's talk about that. Until 1933, the United States operated on what was called a gold standard. Now, this is a little misleading because, I can still take $2,000 and to my favorite gold store and exchange the $2,000 for an ounce of gold. Now, that is, in essence, a gold standard. But in the past, that ounce of gold was $20, and you could take the $20 bill, the script, into a bank or into the Federal Reserve, where they started keeping all the gold, and exchange it for an ounce of gold. You can't do that anymore. You have to go to a gold dealer. The government doesn't make that exchange anymore. So next, by executive order, Franklin Roosevelt called all the gold in 1933, and then and he gave the people $20 an ounce for it. Then Congress passed a law and raised the price of gold to $35 per ounce from the $20, allowing the Federal Reserve to print more money. Now, we were in trouble as a country. This was the Great Depression, and this is what he did to bust the Great Depression. So some of the decisions that have been made over the years, they worked for a few years, but in the long term, they've gotten us deeper and deeper and deeper into trouble. So in 1978, Congress approved the Revenue Act of 78. They always tweak the tax plan. It's basically the same as it was in 1913, but every few years they'll come along and tweak it to make it more, I don't know, to be able to get more revenue out of it, or to make it slightly favorable for us, or to give the corporations a little bit more. So in 78, Congress approved the Revenue Act, which allowed for 401k plans. Well, this act was implemented in the spirit, so this big word here, spirit, of the government giving employees options for retirement outside of the standard pension plan. This act was the beginning of the end of pensions, as U.S. corporations in reality had lobbied Congress to shut down their pension plans because they were too expensive to administer, and the employer held all of the investment risk. So, I talk about the front of my hand and the back of my hand. This is a transparency discussion. Front of my hand, back of the hand. If you see the front of my hand, it's nice and pink, and if I hold things in there, you see them very clearly. That's, that was the giving the more options for other than the standard pension plan, giving you more options. On the back side, the dark side of my hand, this act was the beginning of the end of pensions. So they didn't talk about that. U.S. corporations had lobbied Congress to get rid of them because they didn't want the responsibility anymore. Also, they didn't want the cost, and they didn't want to take care of us. They had to take care of us till we died, okay? Corporate America wanted a way to reduce costs and transfer the risk from the company onto the employee. Let the employee take the risk. And so what we got, instead of the pension plan, let's X that pension plan out. Only about 2% of the companies in the United States, including the government, still have a pension plan. Still, only 2% still have a pension plan. And I'll bet you that won't last very long. So what we got was the 401k plan. It's subject to market fluctuations. So it's tied to the stock market. It does have some guaranteed investment contracts. Some of them do, but there's no income strategy. When you work for 40 years and you stop working, you get a lump sum of money, whatever it's grown to, or whatever you've deposited into it. If you didn't put it in the markets, this batch of people that are coming out right now or want to come out right now are in trouble because the markets have been, the last 2 years, very volatile, mostly going down and taking the value of your 401k with it. Okay, they've been declining and dwindling. So the biggest problem with this thing is it's limited by your mindset and money management acumen. If you don't understand the markets, if you don't understand the mutual funds that are behind it, or how to investigate the mutual funds and to select the mutual funds for your 401k, it's not going to grow. Okay, that's the problem. And you know what? I was thinking, I was driving along this last couple of weeks that I've been on the road doing my summer road trip. And it came to me, okay? A lot of people call me and, Charles, can I withdraw from my 401k? Not if you're working. There's no provision for withdrawals while you're working, but there are loan provisions. So if you need money for any reason, you can borrow money from your 401k and then just pay it back. Okay. So that's a thought. I hadn't thought about that before, but that is available. And so just, put that one under your hat. Okay. So have you seen any homeless people? Thomas Jefferson said that there'd be homeless. Wow. Look at that. The banking system, we let the Federal Reserve System, which is a private bank, control the money. And look what we have. People on the street. Okay. I know you're saying, why am I here? The opportunity is bigger than you think. These are the questions you may be asking yourself. Is my money safe? Is my money guaranteed? Does the FDIC fully insure all my deposits? Who is this company? Who are the people conducting this meeting? What will I gain by fully participating? So I want to talk about, I'm trying to bring us up to speed. Mr. McNeal did a magnificent job today of talking about the economies of time. And all of this is going on, that's the technology piece. And, banking and technology have come together. Banking and technology have come together. They're merging together. If you didn't know that, you know it now. Okay. That's one of the reasons you came here, is to find out some stuff that you didn't know. So we have this thing, the Federal Reserve Bank Deposit Act of 2020. One of the things that they did with this act was they allowed banks to not have to keep vault cash anymore. So if you go in the bank and you say, I want $10,000 in cash, and they don't have it, or they say, well, you have to wait a couple days or a week before I can get it to you. It's your money, but they don't have it. It's expensive to keep money laying around. So we need to learn, oh my goodness, we need to learn from the bank, right? They're not paying us any interest, but they're not leaving their money laying around anymore, because you can't make money with money if it's laying around. We need to put our money to work. That's why they call it currency. If it's laying around, it ceases to be currency. It's just paper. Okay. So the second thing that happened, no vault cash and no reserves to make loans. Now, as a bank, you don't have to have reserves anymore to make loans. You can pull money out of thin air, but you do have to have deposits. And in the last, 6 months, there have been just some enormous runs on some of the banks. And the Fed thought it was just going to be on the small banks. But some of the runs now are on the big boys like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America. They're losing deposits like crazy. Why? Because they're not paying any interest. And people are sick of that. They're just sick to the gills of it. I know I pull my money out, and I tell people all the time, go where they pay you some return on your money. The bank doesn't do that anymore. There used to be a covenant with the bank where, the bank promised to keep our money safe, and they promised to pay us a fair rate of return. And they've broken both of those covenants. Broken both of them. Okay. So the third thing that came out of this is the Fed Now. Fed Now started, it'll be 3 weeks ago on Thursday. And what that is our government's blockchain. That's what that is. The government putting into effect a blockchain. It's not a pure blockchain because it's not encrypted. But what it will do is allow you to send money from one person to another. It'll allow you to take money out of your account at the grocery store and tap your phone. The federal government is trying to improve money systems by eliminating what is called settlement. Settlement says, if when you deposit a check, it goes from your bank to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve checks sends an electronic signal to the bank where the check is drawn on, and then they come together. The signals come together. Takes about 3 days to settle a check or a deposit, okay, or a withdrawal. All right. So they do these things now over 3 days. With this FedNow system, it's going to be not instantly, but very, very close to instant. It'll work just like Zelle or Cash App, but it'll be the Federal Reserve System. Now that's the front. Now that's really good. You know, that's really, really good. It's getting rid of that settlement time. That's the palm side, right? On my palm, you see FedNow. On the other side, oh my goodness. Let's kind of look at the dark side of the hand. All right. Okay, so that means that the Federal Reserve will be able to track your information, who you make payments to, who you receive payments from, where your money comes, where your money goes, what you buy, what you spend your money on. Are you following me? I think that's too much government power, personally. That's a personal statement. I'm not, you know, this is a GS Partners presentation, but that's not a GS Partners statement. That's a Charles statement. I think that's too much power. So what I'm doing is being careful with this thing. This is, you know, they hired 90,000 IRS agents and are training them right now. 90,000 new IRS agents. Okay, these guys have something up their sleeve, right? There's something going on. They're not telling us everything, but we need to know. You need to know what's coming. You need to know what is going to happen with your money. It's your broke Uncle Sam. You know, the guy who's never had a job, who always saying, hey, let me hold 20. You know, let me hold 50. Now he's coming to the family saying, hey, bring all your money in. Bring it all to me. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to manage it for you. If you got to send some money someplace, I'll send it for you. That's your broke Uncle Sam saying he's going to do that for you. I don't know about that. It doesn't feel right to me. Okay. Maybe it'll be just fine. All right. I'll shut up. The next, so that's FedNow. And so I was thinking with my wife the other day, we have FedNow. What's next? What's next is the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. It's projected in the future. Some people said as early as the end of July that just passed. I don't know. I don't think they're ready because, you know, they've just done a few transactions with FedNow. They need to do some testing. If you go out on the federalreserve.gov, federalreserve.gov website, there's some videos, there's some information. There's a list of the banks that have signed up and are active in FedNow to be testers. There's a list of companies that are going to support FedNow. This thing's going to happen. They're going to push it through, and we're going to see a change here in just a little bit. So you've got the new money transfer, money technology, the CBDC coming out. That's where they call in all the dollars and they give you a digital currency. Now everything's digital anyway right now, but we still have paper. So they're getting rid of the paper. All right, that's what this is about. The problem is that 17% or 56 million people rely on cash. They don't use the banking system. And so if they call in all the currency, you see where that might be a problem? Okay. A digital dollar could soon replace the US dollar. That's what this is about. Let's talk about centralized banking. All right. We've been talking about it for a little bit. Started back in the 1780s. The Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1913, creating a central banking system. All aspects of banking were regulated until the Carter administration. You saw a picture of Jimmy Carter earlier. Under current bank interest rates, $2,000 deposit, $2,000 at 0.001 to 5% APY. I saw some 5% stuff out there the other day. So that's APY. This is the nomenclature or terminology of the financial institutions, right? APY means annual percentage yield. Let's look at the other side, decentralized banking. Mr. McNeal talked about this. He talked about the the implementation of Bitcoin and how that came about. That's blockchain technology. And they want to regulate it. I want them to regulate it, because when they regulate it, you talk about, we've been seeing streams of dribs and drabs of cryptocurrency along the way. When they regulate cryptocurrency, and there's some talk, El Salvador has already made cryptocurrency legal. They were the first country to do it as legal tender. I believe that at some point, most of the world will make Bitcoin legal tender. Mr. McNeal talked about how there are many of European countries are allowing banks to hold crypto as part of their capital. All right. So this metaverse certificate deposit, $2,000 deposit would give weekly rewards of 5% to 20% in a weekly payback reward. A weekly, that's our terminology. Our nomenclature says weekly payback reward, okay? 5% to 22% per week. That is awesome. So started in 2008, DeFi. We're talking about Bitcoin, still looking into regulation under Joe Biden. It's going to happen. Now I'm answering questions. I'm answering them as I go. Those questions that I posed earlier. This is my wife, Gail, and this is me. We are GSP, Gold Standard Partners. And my wife is also a certified training manager, certified life coach, a money empowerment speaker, and a blog writer. And next week, oh my goodness, she has developed a research tool, Mr. McNeal. And this research tool will take you through the things that you really need to know about decentralized finance, about the blockchain, and it walks you through all this stuff. It's just an amazing, it's an ebook. It's an amazing tool. We will have that ebook here and available. And she said, I've had her on the road for 14 days. She said she would come next Tuesday night and talk us through the ebook and give a link where you can download the ebook. So if you're here next week, or if you bring a young person, they'll be able to do some investigating. So I'm a former registered securities principal, executive in banking, former insurance and securities, chartered retirement planning counselor. That's where they teach you how to take $1 million and use $40,000 of it a year so you don't run out of money. Certified financial education instructor. That's this thing over here. I am that right now. I got that designation so I could talk to people and be certified to do so. So, and I'm a proud member of Wealth Builders Worldwide and Gold Standard Partners. This is why our neighbors, the United States is the reserve currency of the world. And this thing here, this is the usdebtclock.org. This is the debt that we're in. This is your broke Uncle Sam right here, right? Your broke uncle saying, give me all your money. Let me hold it for you. And they're going to, there'll come a time when checking accounts and savings accounts are not in the bank anymore. They'll be on a different platform. Some banks will participate in the Fed now, some will not. Will your checking account still be there, or will it go off to another provider? We don't know. People are just talking all kinds of crazy stuff right now to get you to buy their products and services and their information. You come here and get information for free. And I'm going to keep looking, and I'm going to keep giving it to you for free. So don't go out there and buy somebody's stuff when you can come here and get it for free. Okay. So, our neighbors like England, France, Spain, Brazil, South Africa, Russia, India, some of those nations have formed a group, they call it the BRICS. And there are many countries considering joining the BRICS. And what they want to do, their mission is to get off the United States as the standard, the reserve currency for the world, to take the US down as the reserve currency. When they do that, or should they succeed in doing that, I'm going to be the first to tell you, your life will change, and not for the better. Being the reserve currency has allowed us to borrow 31,557,987,460,947 dollars And this is a clock that is running like a runny nose, a sieve. It's running like a sieve. And so that us being the reserve currency, all debt in the world is denominated in US dollars. That makes it literally impossible to get off this US dollar standard. We're in a jam, folks. If we don't even know it. And the countries, the resentment, you know, we've turned this country, because we've weaponized our money. If you don't think so, ask the people in Russia, because we have all their currency frozen. We've weaponized our money, and people are starting to hate us for it. In fact, have you noticed that gas prices went up? That's because Saudi Arabia, our ally, and Russia got together and decided to reduce oil production. This stuff is serious. It's serious. And so when they do that, you suffer inflation of gasoline prices. Could they do something different? Russia doesn't want to do anything different because we have their money frozen. Why should they? Because we say so? Oh my goodness. People are starting to hate us. And this is not the same country, the same attitude. We spent a lot of money after World War II building up the rest of the world. We did it. Okay. Now they're kind of tired of us. All right. You ponder that one. I'm going to get off that horse. Treasury Secretary Yellen, Janet Yellen, says that she wouldn't be surprised to see more bank consolidations. What she thought was going to happen when she said this was that banks, the small banks, would consolidate into the bigger banks. In other words, the small banks would fail and the Fed would move them over into the bigger banks. But the bank runs have been against the big banks. Our banks are getting weak. And so I have one solution for this. Take your money out of the bank. Okay. This is GS Partners. Welcome to our global community. And I want to say,
McNeal.
yes, sir.
No
Having
sound.
technical difficulties, folks. I'll get it fixed in a hot second. Okay. Hmm. So I wanted to show you that because that's really a video synopsis of GS Partners since the beginning, all the way through our meeting in May of 2023. I was there in 2021 when we had our first meeting in Dubai. I missed the second meeting, but I was there for the third. And I want to tell you something. There's some great memories. And, a lot of people will come to us and say, is this company new? Who are these people? Remember, I told you, I'm going to talk about who we are. This is powered by Swiss Valorum Bank, the story of GSB. The story of GSB, Gold Standard Corporation AG, is one of perseverance, innovation, and commitment to excellence. And so I'm not going to read all that to you. You can take a snapshot of it if you want to. It started in 2013. A group of visionaries set out to disrupt. So these guys are disruptors. We're disruptors. Well, what does that mean, Charles? Think about some disruptors that you know today. How about Facebook? How about how about Amazon? Disrupted the whole industry. How about Walmart disrupting? We don't see downtowns anymore in small towns because Walmart came along and put mom and pop out of business. You see mom and pop, pushing rooms at Walmart now because that whole industry, Walmart changed it. And then there's Amazon, who came along and delivering anything that you want, including automobile motors, to your door, delivered to your door. The world is changing. Okay. It's being disrupted. Airbnb disrupted the whole hotel industry. That's why there's no people working in a hotel. They can't afford to keep the staff anymore because people are not booking rooms in the hotel. They're booking them in the Airbnb. Okay. In 2014, GSB invested significant funds to develop an ecosystem. That's a big word. That's an economy, a system it is an economy. In 15, they implemented blockchain technology. So here we go. We're hopping on the blockchain. Okay. In 17, preparations began to enable access to retail clients. This is all before my time. All this stuff happened before my time with Gold Standard Bank. In 2019, GSP gave the exclusive order to establish a regulated trust company in Sweden. So they're dealing with customers now. In 2020, this is our year. Now, I'll read that last paragraph. Gold Standard Bank, GSB, developed new marketing platform, which is what we use today. Modules based on blockchain technology where each partner, that would be us, receives real-time rewards. The same time means if something gets bought, you get paid, like right now. The same year they introduced blockchain technology and listed it on several exchanges. 2021, this is when we went to Dubai in 2021. GSB continued to innovate with the development of the Lydian World platform. This Lydian World is amazing. When you become a member and you find out about the Lydian World, you're going to be just amazed. In 2022, GSB introduced world-leading brokerage development and interaction through world-leading brokers, so-called meta brokers. And that's when our certificate program started in earnest in 2022. So the person that introduced you to this platform wanted you to know that because they felt it was important, because they love you, because they, if you're a brother or a sister or a friend, thank them for introducing you to a place where you can put your money to work. GSB's success is not only due to their innovation and commitment to excellence, but also their focus on building an ecosystem with trusted partners and a loyal customer base with more than 500,000 members on their GSP platform. GSP continues to combine technology and education to usher in a new era of the economy and blockchain technology. So this presentation is for the exclusive purpose of educating the community members and users of products, services, and potential rewards programs found on the GS Partners Global platform, powered by Swiss Valorum Bank. And so if you really want to go and look around, ask the person, get back with the person who invited you here and ask them for their registration link and register. Every effort has been made to accurately represent the GS Partners Rewards Plan and its income potential. And so I'm going to ask you to take a screenshot of this disclaimer. And so I'm going to give you an overview where Mr. Greene did it in the very beginning. We're not legal advisors. We're not financial advisors. We're not giving legal or financial advice. We're not tax advisors. We operate in 170 countries. It would be ludicrous for us to give tax advice. So don't ask me tax questions at the end, okay? Because I'm not going to answer them. Somebody does every time, but I'm going to say it anyway. So take a screenshot of that. And the company does not accept for the products and services that they offer fiat currency. In the beginning, I said $50 or $500. It's not $500. It's 500 USDT because they don't accept fiat currency. You have to convert your fiat currency exchange. It's just an exchange to get the products you're about to see. Okay, so GS Partners works all over the world with exclusive tech partners. Compliance is at the heart of our business. We operate in a highly regulated environment. We differentiate ourselves through good conduct, and we're well positioned to continue to thrive in an ever-evolving regulatory environment. Our partners currently operate in more than 150 countries worldwide in this regulated environment. So let's do a market overview. GSPartners.global is a marketing hub connecting communities to multiple sectors and industry opportunities through sophisticated API technologies. That's a connector. API is a connector. GSPartners.global is able to connect our members to major sectors, providing access to real-time markets, participating in the world's largest trends, just like the billionaire and billion-dollar companies do. They make it available to us little guys, okay? So what industries are we dealing with? We're talking about AI technology. This sector is currently worth $1 trillion. The Forex market, daily trading volume of $5.3 trillion. The real estate market with a global valuation of $382 billion. The crypto market with a current market cap of over $1 trillion. Renewable energy with a market value of $928 billion. Offers a sustainable and profitable investment in a rapidly growing industry. Nutraceuticals at $382 billion and online gaming at $138 billion. Here are some of the companies that we're dealing with. Swiss Valorem Bank, GSBD Swiss, Swiss Finesse, and some of the others that we do business with. And so this is the golden key. And I have opened up my account, and I'm going to ask Mr. Greene, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to go pick up my account and show you a live certificate. Mr. Greene, will you come out and talk with me? Let's bounce some ideas off each other and talk with me about, let's see if I can find it. GS Partners, there it is.
There it is.
Share. All right, that's it. That's it. Okay, so there are 9 price points with the certificates. And so, Mr. Greene, how would you describe this? What is it? What is this? What is this instrument here?
I would call it a certificate of deposit on the blockchain.
A certificate of deposit on the blockchain. Okay, I like that description. And how, Mr. McNeal, are you still around? Can you come out and talk with us? Talk us through this? This one certificate, the Terra, is only available in your first 30 days. Okay. The cost of this, and all the certificates operate in the same way. The cost of the Terra is $100. It has a load. Each certificate has a purchase price and a load. Now, what is the purchase price? The purchase price is your income generator. It generates income. You see over here where it says 5% for 52 weeks, weekly payback program on the price, on price. So this price generates this income for 52 weeks, 5%. And so 5% of $100 is $5. Now you can increase that by loading another sector. These things across the top are sectors or block folios. One fintech, renewables, $600 bonus. Boy, these bonuses have gone up. I've been out of the loop for a couple of days, Mr. Greene. The main load, So you don't have to buy it again. This one sector, you get 4% when you load the second one on the same $100. I say that for a reason, because people get confused. They think if you do this one, you're going to get have to pay a fresh $100. You don't. You already bought this entire portfolio. All you have to do now is to load it. The main load for this is 150. The real estate, you can main load the real estate and pick up another bonus of 450. You can main load the meta portfolio and pick up another bonus of 300. All right, so let's go back and break this fintech down. You also get 1.5% for 24 months in a monthly payback program based on the load. Mr. Greene, what do you get if you don't load your certificate?
Nothing.
That's a simple answer, isn't it?
It only activates if you load it.
Aha. So the loading is the activation. What kind of certificate is this? What is the foundation of this certificate? I'll answer that. I asked it, I'll answer it. It's a smart contract. Can you give us a little insight on smart contracts, Mr. Greene?
Yes, sir. Contracts, smart contracts, once the money has been deposited, nothing can change that smart contract. It is written in its program. It's an immutable program. And once it starts, nothing can stop it. And those weekly payback rewards is a drip of the reward as opposed to a pour. So they're dripping in your payments instead of, because they give it all up front. But they rather give
in other words, everything that's going to be paid out to me is included in the smart contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can the company stop it?
Nope,
Okay. Can I stop it?
you cannot.
Okay. What can I get out of it? If I can't stop it, can I get some money out of it?
You can get all out every 7 days. You can get the weekly reward every 7 days. The principal stays there until the 24 months is up. And like it says, after the 24 months, your load comes back to you and the bonus is released.
Okay. Bonus and load are released at the end of the term. So, so what if I load the fintech and then I come back and load the renewables? What do I get?
You get the stackable 5 plus 9%. Last I went to school, 5 plus 9 is 9%, and that's weekly, not yearly, not annually. That is a weekly payback reward.
What if I load the real estate, Mr. Greene?
Well, now you're looking at 12.5% weekly payback reward.
What if I load the meta portfolio?
That'd be 2.5% extra added. That'd be 15% weekly payback reward.
You know, the supplements and the gaming work differently, don't
They do. And since the platforms are not built out, I personally don't talk about those, but if a person is willing to put those rewards in and deposit, that is a quarterly deposit. So it's more than one per year. You have to do it every quarter.
they? Got it. All right. And the same with the gaming, I guess.
Same with the gaming.
Okay. So let's look at a live certificate. I'm going to go back and we'll look at a live certificate. And hold on, you know what? Let's do more than look at a live certificate, Mr. Greene. Let's go buy one. Let's buy a light. I can't buy it because I'm past my 30 days. Let's go buy a light. All right. So this is the light certificate. Let's view the details, right? Am I in the right place?
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, it says exchange now. So I wonder, I guess I have $250. The price is $250. No, it's not. See, there I go again. It's 250 what?
USDT.
USDT. Nothing about dollars. It's USDT because the company won't take my dollars, but they'll take my cryptocurrency. So let's exchange now. And I believe, look at that. You can do Bitcoin, Ethereum, What is that? Oh, I know what that is. I know I have that one. Let's confirm. Purchase of a light. Congratulations. I don't want to exchange one more. I want to load my certificate. See how easy that is? Let's refresh the screen. See, I had 17. Now there's 18. Let's change that number. Boom, there it is. And you see, this is really a wonderful breakdown. My current weekly payback potential is $805 USDT every single week. My current monthly payback and weekly is $5,429 per month USDT in this certificate series. The current value of my certificates is $172,516. This is a way to build your wealth. So let's go back to my certificates. I'm here. Let's find the one that I just bought. It was a light, right? Let's find it. And that's one that's already loaded. Let's see. This one is 9 August. It's got to be loaded. Bought it today, got to be loaded before 9 August of 2024. So let's go ahead and load one sector right now to get the weekly payback started. So when I load the main load on here, this will activate the certificate, and I'll start getting the 5% weekly paybacks based on the $250 that I already spent to
Now,
load.
Mr. White,
yes.
Now, Mr. White, can I ask you a question for the folks
Sure.
that are new that might be looking at this, and for some of the ones that don't know this, that have been here? Do you know you can actually load it 75% and your clock won't start that 52 weeks? It only starts the 52-week payback once it is 100% loaded. You can load it to 99% and it doesn't start that 52 weeks.
All right. So let's do that. Let's get some USDC. I have that. I know I have some of that, right? And let's load, let's type in 300 USDC instead of 375. It's not typing in. Let's put it up here, 300. So we're gonna load 300 and not all of it. Load now. Okay. Success. I loaded 300. Now you're saying that my clock won't start. In other words, I'm still not earning anything.
That is correct.
Until I load the other 75 USDT.
That is correct.
So it's 80% loaded. There's nothing in there. Now, why would I want to do that, Mr. Greene?
Well, the reason why you want to load is because you want to start your weekly payback rewards. Instead of the money sitting in a central banking system where the money's not earning you anything but a negative rate of return, you can actually put it, encrypt it to the blockchain with GS Partners, and GS Partners has it in a smart contract. The smart contract is then going to pay you a weekly payback rewards, and you have multiple currencies that you can use as long as you do the multiple currency exchange.
So, okay, this screen is telling me a lot of stuff. It tells me there's a promotional load that I can get. It tells me that once I main load, the value is going to go to $1,312 from the small amount that I put in there. Is that what it's telling me? So I've queued this up to max load with my Bitcoin. I've got that Bitcoin. Did you notice I changed currencies?
Noticed it.
Oh, doesn't like that. Maybe I don't have enough. Let's go to, what else do I have? I might have enough of that. Max.
Well, if you look, it tells you have a balance right underneath where it says how much you actually need. It actually tells you how much you have in there.
Look at that. There you go. So this one will increase my, say it's 100% loaded. This one's, you see that number go up from 1,003 to 1,463. And let's go back and look at my certificates. 18, remember that number? It went up to 817 USDT every week that I can withdraw or compound weekly payback potential. And then when you add in the weekly and the monthly, there you go. Now let's see if there's a certificate ready to withdraw our compound. So we become our own bankers when we do this. There's a Terra that I bought on May 24th. Let's load now and see what's out there. Oh, let's go back, Mr. Greene. There's some information up here we need to share. Will you talk about this? Terra certificate. Your weekly payback on this certificate is 12.5%. How did I get it to 12.5%?
Because you loaded 3 of the blockfolio sectors within that smart contract.
3 of the blockfolio sectors within this smart contract. Okay. So that gives me my 5%, 4%, 3.5%, and my monthlies at 1.5, 1.5, 1.5.
Yep. PW means per week, PM means per month.
Right. Okay.
That's that nomenclature that you always talk about. The language has to be compliant.
Yes.
So they actually write it out for us.
Yes, it does. Okay. So I get to withdraw or compound this. Let's see. Let's click on the withdrawal, because people always ask me, do you really withdraw money? Let's go from the renewables and let's see what we got. We have a weekly withdrawal and 5.7143 USDT. And I'm going to withdraw now to the renewables. And congratulations, that was successful. I'm actually withdrawing. Let's do it again. Withdraw. I'm going to withdraw from the fintech now. The weekly. This see down the corner, account credited. Your account has been credited with the amount that I withdrew. Withdraw now. Okay. Back to certificates. Boom. And we have withdrawn this certificate. And if we refresh the screen, let's do that. Oh, there's the account credited. So my account has been credited with the amount that I withdrew. And, here is something really interesting, Mr. Greene. It makes a record. That's what the blockchain does. The blockchain is a decentralized record of whatever is connected to it. It makes a record. So I'm going to stop sharing. Should you have any other things I need to share, Mr. Greene?
No, only thing I want to mention, on the 15th of the month, we want to make sure that everyone knows there is a special promo. The promotion is, if you want to go to Cape Town, the company is giving you a 10x on the promotional loads. And if you want more information, get back in contact with the person who invited you here. But I think that is one of the biggest promotions the company has ever done to date.
It is. It's amazing. Should I show that?
I think you might want to show at least the 10x part. So people, when they say 10x, what 10x on what? So they really can see that they can take $5,500, put it into a certificate, and earn 10 times that bonus on a water certificate.
Okay, let's do that.
This is how the wealth literally generate fortunes for their generations to come.
Okay, so with the water, the purchase price is $1,000. The main load is $1,500, right? Which generates a $5,250 bonus.
Correct.
The promotional load is $3,000, or 2 times the main load, and 15,000 or 5x of this $30,000 would come automatically. The other 5x or $15,000 would come when you go to the come to Cape Town promotion in Cape Town, South Africa. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you see right here where you can turn just a few dollars into a whole wampum full of dollars. All right. Now, I wouldn't normally believe something like this if I hadn't already done it. They did the same thing when we went to Dubai the last time. We got incredible bonuses. These bonuses are even bigger than the ones in Dubai. And they already paid those. So I'm excited about that, Mr. Greene.
Me too. I thought that would be most important for us to inform, enlighten, and show.
All right. So let's go back and look at a $10,000 certificate and see what that bonus is.
We on fire now.
We're on fire now. That's called the fire. Look at that. $10,000 to purchase, $15,000 to load it on the main load, a $52,500 bonus, $30,000 to load it on the promotional load, and a $300,000 promotional bonus. This is big. I could say a lot of other things, but this is big. I'm going to stop sharing now. And you know what? We haven't done Q&A in a long time. Should we do a little Q&A? Just, let's do 5 questions and be done because we're late.
Okay. All right. I have no place to go. I have no job to go to, folks. If you have to go, you can certainly exit. But for
Right.
the ones that are looking to at least be educated, all this is as an education platform. Our chairman of the board always says one thing: education.
So, Mr. Greene, the thing I forgot to do is to tell people to get back to the person that invited them.
Correct.
And get their registration link. You have to register for this stuff. Get the registration link and register and thank them for bringing you to a place where you can put your money to work. I'll shut up.
All right, folks. We are going to get 5 questions, and we want those relatable to only the elemental certificates. If we go off base and start talking about everything other than the elemental certificates, we'll probably have a misunderstanding. So to keep this on the train tracks and not off the track, we want every question relatable to the elemental certificates. If you could just raise your hand, the first 5 that raised their hand, we'll bring you forward. We'll let you unmute yourself, and you can actually be noticed. If you are on a PC or a laptop, you'll see reactions. You'll see a button that says reactions. You can raise your hand. And if you're on a phone, you'll probably see a button that says more. You'll have a button that says microphone, unmute, mute. Please, one person at a time. I'm going to take the first 5 that raised their hand. And I do believe, because we're over time, you don't have to leave if you don't want to, but we definitely want to respect people and their time. So with no further ado, I'll give another 30 seconds for hands. And if you don't have any questions, we will allow everyone. Oh, I see Miss Roz Range. We actually have you. What's up? Roz, it's been a while. Good to see your hand. I also see Aaron Miller. You'll be second. So Roz, if you don't mind, we're going to have you unmute yourself and you can come forward. Miss Roz, are you there?
Oh, I got to unmute.
I was hollering, unmute me, please, please. Hi,
Good evening.
family. Also, Johnny Greene. Thank you, Mr. Charles White. I mean, this information is just outstanding, amazing. My question was like, when you get ready to withdraw, and I understand all that, and I saw where you withdrew the renewables before the fintech. So is there a reason why you do that? Or, to do the weekly, or the monthly? Are you understanding what I'm asking?
I don't. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I was asking, okay, you know how you have you have a withdrawal coming up. Okay, so you got your fintechs, which is your first block folio, and then you got renewables, and then real estate. So I saw you do the renewables first instead of clicking on the fintech.
No reason. No
Okay.
reason. It's just I just you can do either one. Click on whatever you want. It's very flexible.
Okay.
And,
thank you.
and so when you compound, you can compound to you don't have to compound fintech to fintech or renewables to renewable. You can send it wherever you want to go.
Okay.
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 And
okay.
and you know, this is really a strategy.
Are
thing.
you doing that? Are you doing the compounding now since they put that option on there?
Yes, I compound from the last series into this series, and we're getting ready to, you know, we're getting ready to go to Cape Town. So, Mr. Greene, you going to Cape Town?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We'll be there together.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, when you said you compound into the series, they just put that option on there, right? Okay. So you're saying, I saw you were doing the withdrawals because most people are doing the withdrawals from the new certificate, the elemental certificates. And then now they added the compounding. So you're saying you're compounding to FinTech
I
renewal.
compound from the Olympus certificates into the main load, or because I have some certificates. I've been driving all day. I have some certificates that are not fully loaded. So I do the promotional load, I compound into that. You can do
Okay.
that. You can compound
Okay.
into the promotional or the main load of any elemental certificate from the last series. But if you're new here, that doesn't apply because you don't have that.
Okay, because I thought, yeah, I got kind of confused because I thought you could not load your promotional until you load your main load, you know.
Correct.
On
You've got to load that. If you have a certificate that doesn't have its main load completed, you can
Mhm.
compound from the Olympus series
Olympus.
into the elemental main load first, and then it'll let you go into the promotional load and load that.
Thank you so much. Get all the understanding I can. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Back to you.
All right. Next, we have Mr. Miller. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, how's it going, family? Everybody good, I hope. Wow, what a powerful and just enlightening situation this call is just done for the world, man. And I'm just fired up to be able to take some of the nuggets that I learned tonight and share it with the world and really just build wealth for my family and just other people, man, that I encounter. So that's awesome. I wanted to ask a question regarding the monthly compound, the 1.5%. Does the 1.5% stack just like the weekly? For instance, if you load the fintech, you get 1.5% of the balance every month. If you load the renewals, you also get 1.5. Is that an additional 1.5?
Yes, it
Or is
is.
it just one, or is it just 1.5?
Each load gets 1.5. Each load gets 1.5. And you know what? I see one of our great, members here, Mike Johnson. Mike, why don't you turn your camera on and join us in answering these last few questions?
Just to clarify what I'm asking. So you get 1.5 of the fintech. You come up, you have a new balance. And then you get 1.5 again of the renewables of that new balance.
Every load gets its own 1.5%. Now, the week on the monthly, right? That's a monthly payback.
Correct.
Every load has its own 1.5% on whatever that load is. Does that make sense?
Okay, so the load amount stays the same for the entirety of the program, or does the load grow as you compound into that load?
The load grows as you compound. That 1.5% is a monthly compound.
Okay, so I guess the specifics.
You can also let's complicate things even more, Mr. Greene. You can take your weeklies and compound them into the load as well.
1.5. That is correct.
Exactly. So let's say just for sake of numbers, I have a load of $2,000 and I get 1.5% of that on my fintech. So I make some money on my fintech and now I have a new balance because
Yes.
I just added 1.5 to it. Now with that new balance, am I going to get 1.5% on my renewables of the new balance?
You get a compound every month. So yes,
Okay.
you get a compound every month. It's a compounding system. I like it. Albert Einstein says a compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world.
Amen.
I'm down
I
with
guess-
that, baby.
I
Compound
guess I guess another way to ask the question is this: Does each bucket is each bucket remain separate as it goes along, or does it
Yes.
all combine into one?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Each load has its own
Oh,
bucket.
Gotcha.
Each
Gotcha.
load, you get a 1.5% payback, monthly payback reward on each load.
Okay. All right. And just to talk about the promotional balance real quick, you only can load the promotional once the certificate is fully loaded. So for instance, let's
Once
take a
the
water.
main load, once the main load is loaded, you are free to load the promotional load.
So you start all over from zero, or does it accumulate from the, for instance, let's take a water. A water load is $1,500.
Yes.
Promotional load is 3,000. So after the 15, do you pay another 3,000?
Yes.
you
Yes.
another-
You pay another 3,000. Yes. That's
Gotcha.
the promotional load. And
Okay.
that's where that big old bonus comes from.
That's
Oh
right.
my goodness.
Oh.
Don't get me started.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get it. So I just want the rules of the game. That's all.
Yes, sir. I
Thank you,
understand.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I appreciate it. I
I
don't want you
understand.
to hog. I don't want you to hog the call. You done had about 4 questions, so
Is it
That's
right
supposed to be
on?
one question. One question.
yeah, just
Come
one question. I appreciate it. We have 3 more to go. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Next, we have looks like Ellsworth Watts. If you can unmute yourself, and we'll have you ask your question.
Okay, so you buy a water certificate,
Mhm.
then you load FinTech.
Mhm.
The clock starts running. You're gonna get that weekly income for 52 weeks. You come back a month later and load the renewables.
Mhm.
Is that gonna start another clock for 52 weeks, or
Nope.
you
No,
lost 4 weeks there?
you lost the 4 weeks.
That's what I thought. Okay, that was my question.
Beautiful question. Thank you for being short, quick, and easy.
But 4 weeks of something is better than 52 weeks of nothing.
Yes, that's right. Okay, thank you.
And you
Thank you,
still get
sir.
the bonus. So I'm, you know, I had this discussion with my wife on the way back from St. Louis. We drove, we got a chance to talk about some of these things, and you know, I'd rather have 48 weeks on $10,000, you know, with 5% or 4% on 10,000 than no weeks, right? Okay.
Yep. All right.
Miss Nicole.
A critical question to ask, and I'm sorry. Every week we talk about moving our money out of the centralized system. I have 6 streams of income.
Mr. Watts, real quick. Is this the second question, or is this still the first question?
This is the second question.
Okay,
Mr. Watts, I've been driving all day, so you're gonna have to stop. You gotta stop. You gotta
Okay.
stop.
I just, you know, I'm really, when it comes to rules, I want to make sure we all follow the same rules. Let's go to I believe it's Miss Nicole Walters, if you'd be so kind to unmute yourself. One more unmute.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yes,
Loud and clear.
ma'am.
Okay, so thank y'all for all this information so far. As of right now, I understand that the weekly income does not start until every sector has been loaded.
No, ma'am.
So-
That's not correct.
Okay,
If you load the fintech sector, that 5% starts you'll get your first payback reward in 7 days.
okay, gotcha. Okay, so that wasn't my question though. I'm new to this, so I just want to say, well, let's say I do put in $100 today and get that Terra certificate tonight. And a week from now, I start getting paid out. But at what point does that
You have
become?
to load
50,
it now. Hold on.
right? I have to load I have to load.
At least one
sector.
sector, at least
Right.
one.
Right. So then I'm gonna go ahead and load every sector that I can every sector so that I get as much as possible. But at what point, and I'm looking for like a time frame, at what point does that $100 I'm gonna put in tonight become $250 that would be used to purchase the light certificate and so on and so forth?
Okay, look, you know what, Mr. Greene, let's go back. And I'm going to share my screen. And let's, because I obviously didn't do a good job of explaining this. That's the fire. Can you see that, Mr. Greene?
I can see it.
All right, let's go back and go back to my certificates. And these are my live certificates. And I'm going to look at a Terra. Sort by Terra, and we have this. Here's the Terra certificates. I have a few of them. All of them are loaded. Okay. And so let's just pick one. Let's go to this one right here. I bought it. It was purchased on 24 May. Okay. And it has to be fully loaded by 24 May of 2024. You got 52 weeks to load it. You can see that this one, I have been compounding into this one and into this one. And I even took the real estate and I compounded, I put it in here because I wanted to get more money. Now, I wanted to get the money faster because the fintech blockfolio is 24 months. So you get a 1.5% for 24 months monthly payback program expiring on 24 May of 2025. That is the maturity date of this blockfolio. So that money will be coming back to me at that time. And so what am I going to get back? I'm going to get this, whatever has accumulated on a monthly basis in this load. Here's the main load right here. I'm going to get this total value right here. That includes the bonuses. That's all going to be available. I'm going to continue to get 5% until 24 May of 2024. 24 May of 2024. And that's all based on that $100 that I bought it with. Is that good?
I understand that. I think well, in my head, it sounds like as that money is adding up between your weekly payment and your monthly payment, at some point 250 will be in your I guess crypto account. Would that then be used to trade
on this day right here,
more than
24 May of 2025.
That's when that would happen. Okay.
Everything's going to be released, and this will be it's almost 200 now, 250 now. So I have 195 in this main load. This is what's going to be released, this 1,253. This will continue to be released, and this will continue to grow. Okay. All that's going to be released on 24 May of 2025. And what I can do with that money at that time, okay, is I can spend it any way I choose. I can either buy another certificate with it. I can pull it out of the platform and pay my rent with it. I can do whatever I want to do with it.
Perfect explanation. Ms. Miller, did that work for you?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, and I am so glad that you're here. Who invited you to come, by the way?
You can unmute yourself again.
That would be Mr. Johnny Greene.
Mr. Johnny Greene. Awesome. One of my favorite guys.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. I appreciate you. And she's one of the young ones, folks, for you.
Awesome.
She's
we have to help these young people. You know what, Mr. Greene?
Yes, sir.
I am going to send you send me her USDC deposit address, and we're going to give her a $250 certificate.
Did you hear
We're
that,
going
ma'am?
to gift her one.
Oh my goodness, thank y'all.
We're going to gift her
I appreciate it.
We're going to gift her a $250 certificate. If I can buy one for me, I can buy one for her. Okay. Let's do that.
I'll pay the half. So we'll go half on it.
Wait a minute. Does that say you're going to load it?
I'll load it.
Okay. I'll buy it. You load it. Wow. You got a fully funded certificate, darling. I'm excited about that.
Thank y'all so much. Thank God.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
God is, God is good like that.
He sure is all the
sure
time.
is.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome. All right. Next call we have is L. Gant. You can actually be noticed and unmute yourself. Looks like they went rogue on us. Looks like the last one is my good friend from the UK up. I don't know what time.
No,
it is.
I'm here. I'm right here.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, O'Brien,
I
let's
just,
go.
I had to figure out how to, what I was wondering about is the, I know we was talking about the certificates and the loads, but I was also wondering about the Lydian world. Is that another subject, or can I talk about that?
That's another subject for another day. You can get back in contact with the person who invited you and you can have the discussion. And if they can't help, please, by all means, reach out to your other upline and then we'll help you, just not on this call. We want to.
Okay, okay,
wanna
well,
keep it to the
we
elemental
get back on the loads. What I did want to know about the load is, can you partially load a certificate if you don't have all the money to load the full thing? Like if you have just part, like if you have a light and you don't have the full amount to load all of it, can you do a partial load?
Yes, you can, but it won't activate any rewards until it's 100% loaded. So yes, you have a year to load it.
Okay, so we can like a fourth of it can be loaded, and then I can load a little bit more, you know, when I get some more money until I get full. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm gonna channel my Dr. Best. Dr. Best would say, if you want to expedite, if you want to hurry to fill your certificate, tell somebody else and see how quickly you'll be able to fill it.
Now,
That's
I
awesome,
have a
Mr.
bunch
Greene.
of, now I do have a bunch of young people coming next week, and they're
All right.
18 years old.
All right.
That is
Thank
awesome.
you. That's awesome. All right. Last question that we have is going to be from my good friend. I'm going to introduce who this is. Executive with the company. He's from the UK. Started probably 7 months ago. And I'm happy. I'm excited. Mr. Abtar, if you could tell us what time it is in the UK and go ahead and ask your question.
Wow. I don't need that kind of introduction, Johnny. Thank you so much. The time is almost 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK in London. I raised my hand. Johnny, brother, I've known you for all these months now. Mr. White, and obviously Stephen Greene. I haven't come on air. I haven't raised my hand. In fact, let me first of all lower my hand. Don't need to be on there now. I haven't raised my hand to ask a question. No. I raised my hand to salute you people for the magnificent job that you're doing. I've always come in, listen to these calls, and I get so much out of it. Mr. White, what you say to everybody, the way you explain through your banking skills, let me tell you now, Mr. White, it is second to none.
Thank you.
It is absolutely second to none. Your banking skills and the way you are explaining and delivering the message to all of us is absolutely stupendous. So I salute you, brother. I'm here till 3 in the morning. I will stay here till 5 in the morning to listen to you, brother. Not a problem at all. And Johnny Greene, love you, brother. You are an absolutely hero for a lot of people. Your support to all of us means everything. And I do my small bit for the community as well. But what I do understand of all the platform that we're involved in, no matter what we say, and we have to respect the new people, the ones who've been in a few months and everything. This is a very, very complex business we're in. Yeah. And so we got to take our time, teach and coach the people that are coming in. So they have lots of questions. Sometimes they repeat again and again because it takes time to digest. So we just got to be patient with them. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to Mr. White. Johnny Greene, I don't need to say nothing to you, brother. I love you, brother. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes to come on and just say my few words to you. Love you all. Have a great day. Thank you so much, brothers.
Thank you, Abtar. You're always welcome here. You know, Mr. Greene, we're going on the road again. On Saturday, I think I'll be in Henderson, Texas, to do a face-to-face meeting. I'm going to ask Ms. Brenda Davis about that. I think she's on here. She was a few minutes ago. So if you're in the Henderson, Texas area, we'll be doing a meeting out there. And I think September, I'll be back in Waco, again to do another meeting. So if you're in the Waco area, the date, I'll have the exact date and location next week. But I'll be working with Mr. Joel Gay, ambassador, global ambassador Joel Gay, on that meeting. So I'll be in Atlanta on give me the dates, Mr. Greene.
September 25th and 26th of this month, the end of this month.
Mrs. Davis, I see you there. You've unmuted. Will you tell me where I'm going to be in Texas on Saturday? Unmute there, Miss Brenda. You were unmuted. I don't know what happened, but you're muted again.